So, Albert Einstein once said, I fear the day when technology will replace human interactions and the world will be filled with a generation of idiots. And to be a complete human being, I believe that every citizen should have a stint with the defense forces. And to prove this right, we have our next speaker, Lieutenant General Ramesh Halgali. Welcome, you, sir. He was born in Karnataka in 1952. He graduated from the Indian Military Academy and was commissioned in the 1st Battalion, the Sikh-led Infantry in December 1972. He has attended the Defence Service Staff College, the Higher Command course at the Army War College, the National Defence College, and the Senior Fellowship Program at the Atlantic Council in Washington. He was also the Corps Commander of the Corps in the Punjab. Thereafter, he was the Director General Military Training and later the Deputy Chief of the Army Staff at Army Headquarters. He has been awarded the President's Sena Medal Gallantry for displaying courage and bravery in the enemy in 1992. He was awarded the Parama Visishta, the highest award, and also the Ati Visishta Award and the Seva Medal. Welcome, sir, to the top. So let us all hope for a motivation for the lifetime. At the age of 59, he did a skydive of 12,000 feet. So he's in the Limca Book of Records.
Dr. Bharat, distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the 87th batch, the Mysore Medical College, and my little children. It gives me immense pleasure to be with you all this morning, an occasion that is momentous in more ways than one. We in the military also celebrate course get-togethers. We celebrate occasions of the great battles that we have fought. The 71 war, the terrorism in Sri Lanka, the closure of Khalistan in Punjab, the eradication of terrorism in Kashmir, the peace accord in Mysore and Nagaland, so on and so forth. I'm extremely happy that all of you all have come together as a family to recall some of the trials and tribulations that you all went through during your preliminary stages in life, how you graduated through this journey. You shared commonality amongst yourselves, you exploited your wisdom, you understood the changing technologies, you grappled with human values and culture, and above all, have always aspired to be great citizens of modern India. My congratulations to each one of you, ladies and gentlemen. And there is many more challenges that are ahead of you. And I, as a soldier, will not talk about magic, will not talk about the imponderables that can happen through ways of other than professionalism, courage, candor, and commitment. So, in the next 30 minutes, I will run through a few slides that I thought are very imperative in understanding the nuances of what makes the soldier that he is, how does he mold himself, what kind of a vibrancy does he generate within himself, and above all, he dedicates his life, is willing to give his life in the ultimate supreme sacrifice for the nation. Probably there is no other parallel that you can draw when a human being surrenders his life, gives his life voluntarily in battle. All of you are doctors. Many of you have seen patients on bed. Many of you have seen patients walking. Many of you have seen patients in different arenas. But here is a soldier who says that I am willing to go सात समुंदर पार, देश की कुर्बानी के लिए अपनी जान देने को तैयार हूं, and is willing to sacrifice himself. because he wants to defend and protect one life of his countrymen, even if it amounts to taking the life of the opponent. You're all doctors. Each one of you is in the business of saving and protecting lives. Look at the commonality between a soldier and a doctor. We are both in the same profession. We sail in the same boat. We ride the high tide with one belief that we will reach the shore at the opportune moment. So this being a momentous occasion, we got to continuously evolve to see what are those defining moments of growth. And unless we intrinsically appreciate how the parameters of growth can be ingrained in our life, we will be falling short of our expectations. We in the military have continuously evolved a system of barometric analysis. It's evolved through wargaming, through computing, to reflecting in our mind and coming about with what we loosely call as artificial intelligence, robotics, all that terminology that we use in technology. We also do it in military. But at the end of it all, it is the man, it's the doctor behind the patient that is critical for the survival and the change that we're looking at. 4 words: idealism. Each one of us has to become an ideal in life. We must look at innovative steps to change our own life and change the lives of others around us. We must be volunteer. Volunteer for the most dangerous, for the most difficult, and above all, to bring about a realistic change. And finally, the word of philanthropy. Remember, Quran Sharif says that 10% of your earnings must be devoted, must be dedicated in the form of charity, in the form of giving, in the form of sharing, whatever term you want to call it. But that philanthropy gives you courage, adds value to your life, and says that I must abide by the 4 principles of life. Tolerance in society has taken a beating today. Argumentative India, a book by Dr. Amrita Sen. We are all very argumentative. A patient comes, he gets into argument. As a doctor, we get into argument. You know, all of us get argumentative in nature. And this, in society, is dangerous. Because when you understand the value, argumentative capability must start shrinking. The core argument is, what do I do? How do I strengthen myself to keep the fabric of this nation strong and keep the frontiers of our country always shining? Samuel Huntington wrote a book in '97 called Clash of Civilizations. Those who have yet to read, please read that book. Today, everything that is unfolding in the world is something that has come out from that book. It's something like Future Shock, written by Alvin Toffler in '73. Then in 2003, the same Samuel Huntington writes a book called Culture Matters. India can keep growing. The United States can keep growing. Our foreign policy, our industry, our agriculture, our services sector, our knowledge, our technology, our military power can keep on casting shadows wherever they like. But the cultural domain, how do we premise that? What values do we ascribe to culture will ultimately define nationhood's power of its survival. When the roots are deep, there is no reason for fear. We have to continuously become strong. Only then we will be able to change. But your desire to change must continuously be alive. This ability to disrupt yourself, I think, is very, very important. And there is a whole philosophy of how we assimilate disruption. How do we bring about newer dynamics of disruption? And ultimately, we bring about change. We certainly don't want to be the same that we were in the past. Look at this man going through fire. We do that in our villages also today, you know, those little melas and those jatris. There also there is a bonfire and people, sadhus and saints and spiritual leaders walk through fire. Look at this guy, Thailand. But ultimately, when you go through fire in life, the way you go through fire is more important. It's not just going through it. How are you going through that fire? That is what is more critical. So today what I will do is I'll just try and cover a strategic scan of what the world is moving like. I'll try and bring about the values of duty, honor and country. 3 words that are hallowed and extremely important in each one of our lives. Now, if you really see the geostrategic scan, I think the whole world is changing today. New polarizations, new constructs, new formations, new alliances, new partnerships are being created. After the collapse of the Cold War, I think now in the last 4 or 5 years we see major changes that are happening. And what you see in Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, Russia, China, all these are indicators of the change that is happening. And we in India today, that's where we come in. What is the line that we adopt? Do we still remain a non-aligned country where our strategic autonomy remains supreme? Or do we join the bandwagon of the United States of America, the Western world? Or do we remain neutral? Or eventually merge with the Asian crowd of China and so on? So there is a lot of dilemma in our strategic thought. And each one of you, I'm sure, are reading every morning to know the direction in which India is moving. The economic meltdown is very clear today. And I don't see in the foreseeable future, in the next 3 to 4 years, there is going to be change in this entire resurfacing of the economic paradigm of the emerging world. Trajectory of technology is very important. You are all aware, whether it is imaging devices, whether it is pharmaceuticals, whether it is medical insurance, whether it is diagnostic applications, the whole world is changing today. The whole world is changing today. And therefore, this evolution is what you got to keep on looking at. And the last point is about terrorism. Please do not think that terrorism is only in the area of Kashmir. Terrorism is on our doorstep. And if we do not take preventive measures, we will find the red corridor starting from Tirupati, going right up to Pashupatinath in Kathmandu, is going right through the heart of Karnataka. I hope you are aware about that. And large number of modules have been created. New organizations like ISIS, ISL, all of them are being created today. So we have to be constantly alert and ensure that terrorism does not fan itself. Exercise control to deny the rightful growth of economic emancipation of our country. And each one of you are responsible for it. But why do I say that is? Because you are in constant touch with people. Every day you're meeting hundreds and hundreds of people. So even if one occasion you get to kind of bring solace to the mind that is disturbed, a mind that is in distress, a mind that is suffering, probably he will not pick up a gun, he will not take out the safety fuse of a grenade and will not lob the grenade for a few pounds, pennies and dollars. So please remember that we are all responsible as useful citizens of our country to disallow terrorism to fan through the width and breadth of our country. Let me just start with the string of pearls. Look at China, how they're trying to encircle India, starting from Bangladesh to Burma to the Coco Islands, coming down to Sri Lanka, getting into Godar port of Pakistan, Afghanistan, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, a whole lot of places. You see, they are all over. China is trying to encircle India. I remember in 2004, I was in Beijing and I addressed the Chinese Academy of Military Sciences. 400 four-star generals were present. The leadership of the Communist Party were present, and I told them, I said, this slide is your figment of imagination, because we believe that China will be encircled like this in a couple of decades. how the world today is trying to encapsulate power around China and will deny it to China. That is why he is doing that nibbling tactical movement in Dokala, in Doklam Peninsula, in those heights around Bhutan today. And you're aware that Indian leadership and Chinese leadership are kind of almost face to face in that particular area. We will deny it to China because today is not 1962, it's 2017. The Indian armed forces today are in superiority, not only in our tactical application, but our strategic thought. And the leadership of our country will give us the green signal. Whether it is Pakistan, whether it is China, whether it is terrorism, all three put together, I'm more than confident, having been 42 years in the military, that we will deliver to our opponent that final blow, which he will realize that it is not 1962 once again. Look at the Chinese ambassador who once said, he says, India conquered and dominated China culturally for 20 centuries without ever having to send a single soldier across the border. Imagine 5,000 years of our rich cultural and historical legacy. We are a rich nation, ladies and gentlemen. Feel proud about our nation. Do not go by what you read in the media, these little, articles that you read, lip taps here and there, or what you see in these television programs between 7 to 9 at night. These jokers are trying to demean our nation, are trying to lower the motivation and capability of our newer generation today. I want you all to go home and tell your children that we are a nation of great rectitude. We are a nation of great historical past. And we will not fire a single bullet because our culture is strong. And that lies the demonstration of our capability. Look at the GDP of our country. In 2009, we were around $3.5 trillion economy. Now in 2020, we're heading to be almost 14 trillion economy. This talks greatness of our country. Our industry, all our manufacturing capability, our agriculture, our people, our educational system, our transportation, our water supply. Yeah, we are growing, we are evolving. There are problems today. We can keep criticizing the pollution, the long hours that we wait on the road. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, we are the ones who made it all happen. And all that we do is point fingers at our leaders. That minister did not do it, that IG police did not do it, that minister did not do it. We are constantly finding faults at someone else. But coming to our military cantonments, I don't know how many of you all have been into our military cantonments. Our military cantonments are islands of excellence. We also are governed by the same municipality laws like every other city is. But we ensure that our roads are straight, our trees are planted well, it is dust free. All vehicles and drivers abide by convention of road safety and road security. People are moving on the streets, or children are going to school, patients are going to hospitals, the ladies are going to work. Everything happens very systematically in the military cantonments. Are our cantonments run by the Americans? It's run by us. We are all born here in Karnataka. We are controlling our citizens. So why is it that we are deficient in looking after ourselves and constantly blaming someone else? I think we got to introspect ourselves and say, I will do the right thing. My neighborhood will do the right thing. My mullah will do the right thing. My village will do the right thing. Ultimately, India will do the right thing. Look at this. The spirit of rainbow, I call it. It's a photograph that, you can talk stories about it. There are children from all parts of the country here, dancing to the melody, to the beat on the 26th January Republic Day parade on Rajpath. Look at the Lashkara, unke aankhon mein Lashkara dekhiye aap, unke kadam dekhiye, unke spring in their step dekhiye. Har ek bachcha yahan pe kyun na wo ladki ho ya ladka ho, प्यार के साथ हिंदुस्तान का तिरंगा झंडा अपने कंधे पे रखते हुए आगे बढ़ते जा रहे हैं वो. देखिए हिंदुस्तान की ये रेनबो. When we are all part of that rainbow, it's our duty to remain motivated. to constantly keep evolving. Now let me talk a little about our army. In 1914 to 1918, the First World War, almost 1 lakh soldiers of India went all around the world to fight under the British umbrella. We won 12 Victoria Crosses in the First World War. Look at the Second World War from 1939 to 1945. This was a time where 2.5 million soldiers of the Indian Army belonging to our nation participated in this great war across the world. I'm sure some of your parents, your relatives, your uncles, your dadas may have also participated in the Second World War. And you're proud. You're proud that India demonstrated to the world that we are a country of fighting spirit. Wherever we go, we will continuously keep evolving. 1947-48, Major Somnath Sharma was the first major in October 1947 who got the Paramveer Chakra. And we victored the Pakistani raiders who had come into Srinagar and the Jhelum Valley, and we protected that instrument of accession of Kashmir, which remained part of India. Today media can make any amount of bluster. The separatists can say anything in Kashmir, but Kashmir is an integral part of India. No power on earth can ever snatch that jewel in our crown from our country. It is not the geographical boundary. It is not the territory. It is the value that India upholds. A value enshrined by secularism. A value that talks about everyone being together in our country. Pluralism. Whatever caste and creed he may be, we are Indians first. 1965 war. I commanded the corps in this very sector, the Asal Uttar, where all these tanks were destroyed. 276 tanks were destroyed in 2 nights in the 1965 war. It was a graveyard of the Patton tanks. The Americans kept giving weapons to Pakistan, and that became the graveyard of Pakistan Army in 1965. Look at 1971 war, led by none other than Srimati Indira Gandhi, one of the finest prime ministers we have ever had. After the Second World War, the first time a new country was born was because of the armed forces and superior leadership by a country where Pakistan was cut into 2 pieces. 93,000 officers and soldiers of Pakistan Army surrendered, and a new country called Bangladesh was born. This history can never be obliterated. You cannot change the history of India. Whatever government can come to power, that is where we all belong to. Let's take pride in our history. Let's take pride in our leadership. Let's not demonize them. And this Field Marshal Manekshaw, he was a great man. Mrs. Gandhi called him and he says, "General, how soon can you start the battle to dismember Pakistan?" You know, Sam looked at her, oh, very handsome, tall, smart general, and he looked down at Madam and he says, "Ma'am, I require 8 months. She says, "You require 8 months? I thought you were ready to go into battle in 8 days. He says, "Madam, if you want to win the war, I require time. I require to prepare the Mukti Bahini. I require to deploy my troops. I require to position my guns, keep the Air Force at bay, get the Navy into the seas, and then I will start the battle at the time of my choosing." She allowed him, she gave him the freedom. And that is the success story of the Indian Armed Forces in 1971. 1999, the Kargil War. You all saw this in your drawing rooms. How the Northern Light Infantry and terrorists of Pakistan came and occupied almost 52 kilometers along the line of control. We lost 1,500 soldiers and officers in that battle in 42 days. The Pakistanis lost 6,000 soldiers. But on 6th of July, we brought everyone back to status quo, and India, the tricolor was flying back at Tololing, Kargil, all those heights it was flying again. So this is the resilience of our soldiers. Now, these are the kind of counter-terrorist operations that are ongoing every day. While we are sitting and talking, I'm sure 4 to 5 operations must be on like that. Every day there are operations and soldiers are giving their lives. Remember, they don't care where their wives are, where their mothers are, where their fathers and their children are. But they are in supreme sacrifice doing their duty for this nation. United Nations peacekeeping operations, Today, over 10,000 soldiers are deployed all around the world, in the Middle East, in Sudan, in Africa, and different parts, helping the United Nations organization. This is the war memorial in Imphal. After the Second World War, the Japanese surrendered. This says, when you go home, tell them of us and say that we gave our today for your tomorrow. A very, very apt quotation that has been put there. Now let me just talk something about these three words that I thought should be the primacy of my dialogue today with you all. The discussion that I am holding with you today is nothing else but the centrality revolves around three things. And I, in 42 years of military, believe that if there was one clarion call, if there was one injection, if there was one steroid, if there was one chashka that gave me that impetus to move forward, was these three words. Look at this photograph. Can you make out who was a Gujarati, who is a Maratha, who is a Kannadiga, who is from Manipur? Can we switch off the lights, please? Thoda sa lights ko dim kariye, please. All these soldiers have only one aim in life: to ensure the solidarity, the freedom, the integrity of our nation. They forget their everything else. They forget their economic status, their caste, their religion, their upcoming, their everything else they forget, but they're all getting ready to go into battle. Look at these force multipliers. The Shan of India, the glory of India. You've seen this on 26th of January. The technological force multipliers that we have today, these are the T-90 battle tanks, now being manufactured in India. This is the power, the force projection capability that we have. And you see this march past. The glorious infantry of the Indian Army, always ready to enter the battlefield wherever it may emanate from. We are all proud as Indians to see the kind of salvation that the armed forces demonstrate purely because of duty, honor, and country. Now let me take you to 18th of October 1962, because the Chinese in Doklam are saying, we want to remind India that if you say it is not 1962, so is the PLA, the People's Liberation Army, not of 1962. Let me go over this battle to you. This is the area where the Chinese and the Indian border is there, and there is a post called Chushul in Rizangla. The altitude here is 19,000 feet. The temperatures are minus 32 degrees. 20 to 25 feet of snowfall during this time in October 1962 when the battle started. On this mountain top was 13 Kumaon, one regiment of the Indian Army commanded by Charlie Company by Major Shetan Singh. There was one major, 2 subedars and 120 soldiers. For 3 nights the battle lasted. 3 days and 3 nights on 18th, 19th and 20th of October 1962. And at the end of the 3rd day, look what happened. One major, Shetan Singh of 13 Kumaon, this is Bravo Company, 2 subedars and 120 out of 120 men. This is a live photograph, ladies and gentlemen, taken on the morning of 6th of December, where the soldiers were frozen and they were all dead lying there. Each one had minimum of 10 to 15 bullets and kukri wounds in his body. And these 120 men who laid down their lives had killed 6,000 Chinese soldiers. Just imagine. 6,400 Chinese attacked them. 6,000 Chinese lay helter-skelter and they were dead on the mountains. Only 400 Chinese ran away from the battlefield. Look at the supreme sacrifice. 120 men fighting against 6,000 people and eliminating each one of them. This was Charlie Company that was commanded by Major Shetan Singh. And Bravo Company on the next hill was commanded by my father. And this was the cap that my father was wearing, and I preserve it and I wear this every time that I go. This is the badge of 13 Kumaon, which my father wore from 1934 to 1964, and this is my badge of the Sikh Light Infantry. And I take great pride in wearing this cap of my father because it gives me that courage, that motivation of this battle. On that battlefield of Razangla, a marble plaque has been put there. Very crudely written, look at that. How can a man die better than facing fearful odds for the ashes of his father and the temples of his gods? Just read between the lines, ladies and gentlemen. These are two cardinal principles of life. The sacrifice that you give in salutation to the ashes of your father, and above all to the temples of your God, gives you that chaska, gives you that motivation to continuously keep on evolving and moving forward. And that is why whenever I fall sick, whenever I require assistance, the first thing I do is from my box I remove and I put on this cap. And this cap, in glory of my father, automatically, I don't go to any doctor, sorry, I don't go anywhere. I just put on this cap, and like that magician was saying, Nakul was saying, कि तुम ठीक हो जाओगे, हम अपने आप वहाँ पे ठीक हो जाते थे, because there's power in this cap. There's power in this cap. And this cap reminds me of saying that, Bache, Ramesh, do your duty well. Remember, India is watching you. Remember, your life is invaluable. Your life is priceless. Whatever you do is only minuscule. तो कभी भी अपना सिर ऊपर उठा के मत घूमना. सिर झुकाए रखो, like that big mango tree which bears fruits and is drooping. The birds go and sit there, they make a nest, they lay their eggs, new birds are formed, travelers go and sit under the mango tree, and the mango tree is adored by everybody. But look at that eucalyptus tree that grows next to it. Tall tree. लंबा होता जाता है वो. It keeps on sucking the water from everywhere. It has no flower, it has no fruit, it has no shade, the wood is of no use, it has no fruit, nobody wants to go near it. But that guy wants to grow tall. You see? You don't want to be a eucalyptus tree, you'd rather be a mango tree and droop. Put your head down in salutation of the greatest philosophies of our country. That is where I think values of India respect and allow us to bloom where we are planted. Mother Teresa said this. This is her words I am taking now. She said, bloom where you are planted. That is where I think it's very important. This was Major Shaitan Singh, commanding Charlie Company on that Razangla, who gave his supreme sacrifice and got the Paramveer Chakra, the highest award in that battle. Now this, after 1947, the first Republic Day parade, 1950, 26 January. This is Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Look at this, humble photograph. After Rajendra Prasad, the first Republic Day parade of India, and right in front you see my father saluting him on the canopy of that vehicle there. That was his photograph, my father's first photograph. Now this, ladies and gentlemen, I must draw your attention to this word called mission. Whatever you do, wherever you are, whatever be your problem, you have to remain focused. You have to remain focused. And if your objective is well within the grasp of your mission, whatever it comes to, you have to solve the problem. You have to generate that power to get out of that mold of lethargy, get out of that mold of saying ki kal kar lenge, status quo, mediocrity. That's what not life is all about. Life is about excellence. Life is about mission. Life is about saying ki I will continuously moving forward. That is what life is all about. And when the going gets tough, automatically the going gets tough. You know, so everything is revolved around this. Now this is the motto that I want to draw your attention when we graduate from the Indian Military Academy. That's the Indian Military Academy. These are all the young gentlemen cadets who are today becoming second lieutenants of the Indian Army. And look at that. The safety, honor and welfare of your country comes first always and every time. The honor, welfare and comfort of the men you command comes next always and every time. Your own ease, comfort and safety comes last always and every time. Look at the words. How golden. These were written by Field Marshal Philip Chetwood and inscribed in the Chetwood Hall. In the Chetwood Hall. But the ethos revolves around a strong resolve that you want to demonstrate, the tenacity of your work, your strength. I'm just showing you photographs of military, but wherever you are, these are words that are applicable to you. These philosophies are applicable to you. The courage and this fighting spirit. Please remember, this photograph does not demonstrate in the red corner there is a red boxer with a red punching glove, and in the blue corner is a blue man with a blue short and a blue punching bag. This shows the preparatory work that these boxers have done, the kind of training, the kind of meditation, the kind of wargaming, the kind of analytic work they've done, the kind of visualization of the future, the kind of understanding the imperatives, the imponderables, and above all, preparing for the worst condition and yet waiting to win the bout. That boxing bout, which he wants to deliver, the knockout punch to drop the other opponent, is what we are all looking at. We have to do that. It doesn't happen by miracle. There's no magic in it. There's no magic in it. It's only hard work, sustained commitment. That is where this boxing photograph of the fighting spirit that we are talking about, keeps on evolving within ourselves. Sorry. I just wanted to show you, how do you go back, please? Yeah, look at this. The Buddhists, whoever your religious shrine, your lineage may be, could be a Hindu, could be a Buddhist, could be a Muslim, could be a Sardar, could be anybody. But remember one thing, the divinity of everything revolves around how you shape yourself. How you shape yourself. And let me share a little story. We are constantly in search. We go to every temple. We go to every temple, go head down, we go to Balaji, Tirupati, we go to Vaishno Devi, we go to Amarnath, we go to a Golden Temple, we go to, everywhere. The story says that there was a beggar, a vagrant, and he had not had food for 3 days. भूखा था, खाना नहीं था, उसके पैसे नहीं थे उसके पास खाना खाने के लिए. तो वो जाके मंदिर के पास बैठा और बोला कि जो आज यहाँ पे मंदिर में दर्शन करने आ रहे हैं, वापस जब जाएंगे मंदिर से तो मेरे पतीले में कुछ पैसा डाल के जाएंगे. He kept waiting. जो अंदर जाए मंदिर में, दर्शन करे, भगवान से अपनी प्रार्थना करे और उसके बाद वो बाहर चला जाए. Nobody put money in his patila. भगवान खा ली. तो next day he says कुछ नहीं मिला मंदिर में, so he goes to Gurudwara, now goes to Golden Temple. He goes and sits down there and he says, Vaheguru, Vaheguru, आप ही के कृपा से हम सजे हैं, आज तो मेरे पतीले में कुछ डालो. So everybody goes in, reads the Granth Sahib, they come out, nobody puts a penny in his patila. Third day he goes to the church, he says, my Lord Jesus Christ, everybody is coming in to read the Bible. When they come out, I hope somebody puts some coin in my patila. Nobody puts anything. Now this is 7th day, he's hungry. Now he says, I will go to the masjid. Masjid के पास चला गया. He's sitting outside the masjid and says, Allah Ta'ala, कुरान शरीफ पढ़ने आए हैं और जैसे बाहर आते हैं, please put some money to me. Nobody put money. 8 days he was hungry. On the 9th day he says, मैं अब वहां जाऊंगा जहां मेरा पतीला भरेगा. You know where he goes? He goes to Mekhana. You know what Mekhana is? Mekhana is that bar. जहां पे शराब बिकती है, जहां पे इंसान जाता है, 2 शराब के पैग लेता है, रज्जे होता है और वो बड़ा खूब नचा के बाहर निकलता है. So he went and sat down outside a bar. Now people went in, the gentlemen, went in, had their drinks. When they were coming out, they were high in spirit. So somebody took out his purse. इसको दिख नहीं रहा था. किसी ने 100 रुपए का नोट डाल दिया, किसी ने 20 का डाल दिया, किसी ने 10 का डाल दिया. Slowly, within 2 hours, his whole patila was full of notes. Now he goes home and he starts counting. It goes into 6,000-7,000 rupees. He looks up at God and he says, Allah Ta'ala, आप तो कमाल के हो. Look at the moral of the story. He says, Allah Ta'ala, आप तो कमाल के हो, रहते कहीं और हो और एड्रेस कहीं और का देते हो. So we are in search of God. The God is within us. The God is within us. कहीं तलाश करने की जरूरत नहीं है. श्रीमान जी, हमारे भीतर है भगवान. और जब हम भगवान को बाहर निकालते हैं तो तब हम जाकर के दीवारें खींचते हैं, लाइनें लगाते हैं, चूने की लकीर लगाते हैं और बोलते हैं तुम फलाना हो, तुम फलाना हो, तुम फलाना हो. Please remember that in whatever humble way, millions of hearts you all touch, And please remember when I say millions, because when you touch the body of one patient, through him goes the electricity to his close relatives, to his friends. Beyond it goes over the horizon. And millions of people say, wow, वो डॉक्टर था जिसने हमारे तहे दिल प्यारे को दुरुस्त करा दिया. So that is where I think you can play a very, very predominant role in creating that cultural emancipation of humanity. Look at the responsibility that you all have. Now, care of the people again. We have to constantly evolve. Keep on goading our people to move forward. Just like our soldiers, every citizen of our country is brave and courageous. Let's not demean ourselves. Let's not say वो चोर है, वो राक्षस है, वो बदमाश है. कोई नहीं है, कोई बदमाश नहीं है. सब अच्छे लोग हैं. Let's talk from the positive point of view and not search for negativity. Not keep groping in darkness. Look at the sunshine and move forward. That is more important in life. And this is what you will tell your children also. Please remember the story, the bedtime story that you share with your children must be those stories that will recast a lifelong impression in that child. I don't know how many parents today tell stories to children. I don't know. Everyone is nodding their head. कोई ऐसा कर रहा है, कोई धीरे धीरे diagonally ऐसे कर रहा है. Diagonally कर रहा है वो. ऐसे कर रहा है ना ऐसे कर रहा है. Diagonally कर रहा है वो. You know, it is something I'm telling you. The next generation of modern India is your children, our children. Please remember, let's not put our finger at the teacher and say that teacher is not giving good education. And we are in the race of 97-98%. All India Institute में जाना है, All Armed Forces Medical College में जाना है, St. John's में जाना है, फलाना जाना है, 19 नहीं मिला तो डूब गए, खत्म हो गया, इंजीनियर नहीं बना, फलाना नहीं बना. अरे मेरे भाइयों और बहनों, हिंदुस्तान के अंदर हर एक इंसान के लिए इतनी जगह है, इतना स्पेस है मैन्यूवर करने के लिए, कोई भी भूखा नहीं रह सकता कभी भी कोई भूखा नहीं रह सकता. So never antagonize your children. Never tell them that you are not on the right track. Don't keep poking on him and reminding him of 97% marks. What is 97? It's a figment of imagination. I never scored 97. I remember I scored 69% and I stood first in my college and I joined Karnataka Medical College. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you who don't know. 17 years before you joined, I joined the Karnataka Medical College. I was there. And I started my head and, dissection of the body started, dissection table ke upar. I just graduated from the Sainik school and that year NDA was under construction. So they said, ek saal ke liye koi nahi aayega, you go and do whatever you want. So I said, instead of sitting at home, let me join PUC. I did well and went into medical college. Started becoming a doctor. And I must tell you one incident. On my dissection table, there's a very charming girl called Prasanna Nair. I can't forget her because we were in touch for a long time. Prasanna was a very bright girl. I could never remember these carpal, 8 bones hote hain yahan pe, metacarpals or carp. I could never remember that. She says, Ramesh, you are a duffer. Go and join the army, she told me one day. You are not going to be a good doctor. Yaad karo, ye art tumhe yaad nahi hota? See, I'll tell you how to remember. She said, she looks too pretty, try to catch her. I remember, ye 1970 ki baat hai ye. Each of those words had, its own acronym and a name for remembering that. And I used to play for the university hockey, athletics. I used to do swimming for the university. 6 months ke baad, mera result aa gaya, call letter aa gaya. I packed up my baggage from Karnataka Medical College, Hubli. I went home, I deposited, took my other luggage and joined the academy and became a soldier after that. So whenever my colleagues who are great surgeons today, great surgeons, they invite me for all their get-togethers like this, and they all tell me, Ramesh, you are the lucky guy. तुमने मेडिसिन छोड़ के जो फौज में भर्ती हो गया ना, you are the lucky guy जैसे. हम देखो यहाँ पे काम करी जा रहे हैं और तू ऐश करी जा रहा है वहाँ पर. मैंने कहा मेरे भैया 42 years जान की कुर्बानी दी हमने भी. आप भी दे रहे हो, हम भी दे रहे हैं, बराबर है दोनों का. कोई आगे पीछे नहीं है इसके अंदर. Because this soldier from Nagaland, how simple. This is India. Look at the bulletproof jacket he's wearing. Look at the helmet. Look at his eyes. But look at the bunker that he lives in. 4 feet by 4 feet. पूरी जिंदगी उसका यहीं पर है. फैमिली रहता है नागालैंड में. अपनी जान देने के लिए कश्मीर में आ गया यहाँ पर. इसीलिए आप लोग सब इसको सलाम करते हैं. आप सैल्यूट करते हैं. यही हमारा देश का प्यारा जवान है. यही हमारा देश का नागरिक है. And these are the gallant soldiers. One great encounter, 12 terrorists these boys had eliminated. And when I went to inspect them all, they were all shining and said, "Sir, aur bhi 12 aane do, aaj raat ko aur 12 marenge hum yahan par." This was the dialogue that these soldiers were telling me then. Look at the will. Tempering of your will is very important, ladies and gentlemen. And these are Kashmiri children in Kashmir. Look at them, look at their eyes, look at their mutti, look at their waving, look at the power that they all have. They are being misguided, but they all say that India is one. It's only the misguided elements that are taking them away from there. Your quality of imagination has to be something like this. Absolutely perfect. Imagination cannot get deflected by those ponderables which are human in nature. Remember the flight of fantasy, the ability to procrastinate, the ability to imagine, look beyond the hill, to imagine and forecast something is a great art which you have to teach your children. Nakul was telling the children today, I was very happy when I heard his presentation. Excellent presentation he was doing and telling children how to improve their memory power. We do that in the military. We do rapid reading and do memory power. Because most of us read at 80, 85 words per minute. And we train our soldiers to read 250 to 300 words per minute. You know, you can't read diagonally like that any longer today. You have to read vertically. Keep a newspaper in front and read vertically like that. So eyes have to be trained. Your occiput has to be trained. And there are books for that, rapid reading books. And then having read large volume, you have to store it in your mind and bring it out of your memory at the time of your choosing. There's a book called Memorex. There's no magic in it. There's Memorex. Read that book. As parents, all of you read it, you will find that you've got emboldened. You got emboldened. Then tell your teacher to do it. Then let your children read it. So please have 4 things under your pillow of your children. A dictionary, a thesaurus, a rapid reading, and a Memorex book. These 4 books must constitute the first layer of every child's pillow. Look at this. Courage. Wherever you do, unthinkable, unstoppable. This is Baramulla, where the whole Kashmir was in strike. When I was commanding the division there, 20,000 people came for what I call the run for peace. Because they looked at the leader. They said this leader is genuine. And he delivered to the final stages like this. An adventure, please remember in your mind, this word adventure is a great facility. You got to keep on looking in search of an adventure all the time. When you go home at night and ask, was there any adventure activity that I did today? It's in thinking, it's in power of your work. This is that photograph which Dr. Bharat was saying, when I jumped from 15,000 feet from the aeroplane. It's my photograph, this one. And I didn't know what parachuting was all about. I'm an infantry foot soldier, but as a deputy chief at 59 years of age, I said I can't sign checks for 30 crores and 35 crores and 40 crores for buying skydiving equipment. I better go and jump and know what the soldiers are doing. And I went and within just 1 hour training, and I jumped that time. Now, these are some of the adventure activities that we have always done. Community service, you're all doing as doctors. Great work for women emancipation, helping them wherever you go. Social welfare activities, this forum will allow you to create that bondage, and say, let's 4 of us get to do some work for helping the poor people, helping the disabled, and doing that. Dr. Saab, I have another 5 minutes more? Yes. Okay. I know you all are getting late for your lunch. This is that Kaman Aman Setu bridge, which connects Pakistan with India in Uri sector, where I was commanding the brigade. This is the Indians going on every Friday, Jumma ke din, Indians going across in that bus across Uri, and this is the Pakistanis coming from across the border into India every Friday. This is the run for peace. So this is how the girls' college, all of them waiting to, rise for India, victory for India. We are all proud. We're all proud to be Indians. But in summation, let me say that we have to be a role model. This definition of being a role model is encapsulated within ourselves. My concept of role model is different from yours. You got to give it that shape. Please take a white sheet of paper today when you go home after this great gala meeting that you've had here, and take a pencil and make out a roadmap of your role modeling and see how much architectural drawing you can do for yourself. 3 words are very important. This is in our academy. I will not lie, I will not cheat, and I will not steal. 3 words, if constantly keep reminding us, I think we will be absolutely right. And let's not point fingers like that. Let's not say ki wo chor hai, wo badmash hai. No. I should be clean. I will not follow this, and rest can do what they feel like. Automatically, civilization changes by positivity like this. Greatness comes with a difference. Mediocrity does not have any place. Courage, candor and commitment I've spoken. And finally, I must conclude by saying, ladies and gentlemen, the strength of everything falls within the parameter of what, can I have that video please, the first one? Of what I call as a character. Your knowledge, your technology, your birth, anything can come there. But ultimately, I'll show you a film of 2 minutes. This is where in about 45 minutes, my soldiers did not know that I was going to jump. They thought ki Janu sahab aaya hai, maza karne ke liye, and he was joking, fooling around with us, trying to test the equipment and all. But they didn't know, and I didn't know myself that I was going to jump that day from 15,000 feet. So put on my dungarees, put on my altimeter, my helmet, and ready to get into the aircraft. These are the special para commandos of the Indian Army who are great skydivers, and they all have, the camera is on top, like helmet, and the click of the camera is in the tongue, because the hands are to be free, so with the tongue they keep on clicking the photographs. This is all the Bharat Mata ki Jai, and all my skydivers now, we are rising up. The helicopter goes up. Bharat Mata ki Jai, this is about 15,000 feet altitude. He's testing the wind, checking the altitude, seeing the cloud formation. This was my first jump. Imagine you are now dropping with gravity 600 feet per second. Per second you are falling 600 feet. Your whole stomach, lungs, palm, pura anatomical body comes into your throat actually. Everything happens here. And for good 1 minute, 60 seconds you are falling like that without the parachute. Single journey can change the course of your life. Then you understand what is good and what is bad. You see the other skydivers? Now they are all changing their direction, they can increase their speed. They are experts, these Indian Army skydivers. Now at exactly 5,000 feet, the commander shows his thumb that you are ready now. And at 5,000 feet, where they see 5,300 feet, you release the toggle, and now you are separated. You are separated from your instructor and your mother. And you are all by yourself, the canopy opens, and now this is another 2.5 minute journey now. 1 minute free fall, and now begins the journey with your parachute on. I didn't know what is happening. I was just enjoying this ride. By now, 7 ambulances had gathered there, 4 doctors had gathered. They thought our deputy chief khatam ho gaya. But when I landed, they were shocked that this man can do this without. And there I was, and I landed safely. Normally we give 2 months of training to do this, particular thing. But I want to show you that the ace skydive, just 1.5 minutes. This is all the Indian Army. We do this behind enemy lines. At night we go and drop behind enemy lines. This is the Lakshwati pilots. After that one jump, I did almost 126 jumps. They are to my credit now, 126 jumps. These are all crazy, die-hard commandos of the Indian Army.
I can feel you in the rising tide.
They're all jumping around 19,000, 20,000 feet.
By the fireside, for the moonlight, through the cherry trees, open the roof and take in the view, 'cause you're my sweetest dream come true. Come true. You're my sweetest dream come true. Come true. You're my sweetest dream come true. Color the husk, deep navy blue, and try to be brave, 'cause I'll be right beside you. There's a world so
So at night we jump like this, behind enemy lines in Pakistan and China, and there we mass ourselves, collect ourselves, and then we go into battle from there, without any noise.
I'll be waiting up there, and you can finally fly, 'cause you'll be lighter than air.
Beta, thank you. Yes, Beta. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank you all for giving me this opportunity to be with you all, distinguished doctors of our country. May the canvas of your life always be colored with every hue of happiness. May victory be yours always and every time. Wherever you are, the 87th batch, I wish to join you all when you're 100 years old. You're only 30 now. But I wish to see you all when you're 100 years old. God bless you all. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir. It was really mesmerizing. I had the same feeling 4 years ago when I listened to you in Bangkok, the strict optical conference on the civil guest lecture. The same feeling. So I just wanted my friends to experience the same feeling. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. I invite Dr. Anil HG and Dr. Sridevi to do the honors.
Fantastic and amazing. Thank you, sir.
Soldier, this is not required.
With our standing ovation. So, by Dr. Anil. Dr. Anil has to do the word of thanks. We just have a song by Dr. Veena's husband, Dr. Veena.
Saruragadaariya tane seve madutiradu enudanyalo lakumi entha manyalo ಕೋಟಿ ಕೋಟಿ ಮೃತ್ಯರಿರಲು ಕೋಟಿ ಕೋಟಿ ಮೃತ್ಯರಿರಲು ಹಠಕಾಂಬರನ ಸೇವೆ ಸಾಟಿ ಇಲ್ಲದ ಸೇವೆಗಳನ್ನು ಶ್ರೇಷ್ಠವಾಗಿ ಮಾಡುತ್ತಿಗಳು ಏನು ಧನ್ಯಳೋ ಲಕುಮಿ ಎಂಥ ಮಾನ್ಯಳೋ ಛತ್ರ ಚಮರ ವ್ಯಜನ ಪರ್ಯಂಕ ಛತ್ರ ಚಮರ ವ್ಯಜನ ಪರ್ಯಂಕ ಪಾತ್ರ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಂತೋ ಚಿತ್ರ ಚರಿತನಾದರಿಯ ಚಿತ್ರ ಚರಿತನಾದರಿಯ ನಿತ್ಯ ಸೇವೆ ಮಾಡುತ್ತಿಹಳು ಏನು ಧನ್ಯಳೋ ಲಕುಮಿ ಎಂಥ ಮಾನ್ಯಳೋ ಸರ್ವಸ್ಥಳದಿ ವ್ಯಾಪ್ತನಾದ ಸರ್ವಸ್ಥಳದಿ ವ್ಯಾಪ್ತನಾದ ಸರ್ವದೋಷರಹಿತನಾದ ಗರುಡ ಗಮನನಾದ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲನ ಸೇವಿಸುವಳು ಗರುಡ ಗಮನನಾದ ಹರಿಯ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲನ ಸೇವಿಸುವಳು ಏನು ಧನ್ಯಳೋ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಿ ಎಂತ ಮಾನ್ಯಳೋ ಸಾನುರಾಗದಿಂದ ಹರಿಯ ಸಾನುರಾಗದಿಂದ ಹರಿಯ ತಾನೇ ಸೇವೆ ಮಾಡುತ್ತಿಹಳು ಏನು ಧನ್ಯಳೋ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಿ ಎಂತ ಮಾನ್ಯಳೋ. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Yeah, good afternoon. So I take this privilege and happy to give a vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to thank the only classmate couple from our batch, Dr. Bharat and Maya, for taking maximum efforts in conducting this program. In fact, they have called each and every person, especially the Maya. In fact, whenever we meet for the core committee meeting, she used to call there and then itself. They were motivating every person. So they have really taken maximum efforts. Because as the Kiran said, we met 1 year back in Raghunath's farm with spirits and in high spirits. But we took a big hiatus. Just before 1.5 months, when I saw Bharat, really was worried. Not because he could not arrange. Because he was worried that nobody is coming forward to register. See, we started our core committee, the remaining core committee, we all started with encouraging, motivating each other. Then it all worked out. So our friends, really I request, give a big loud of applause for Bharat and Maya for really conducting this, taking big efforts. Next, I would like to thank our core committee members, headed by Kiran, Rajiv, Srinivas, Padmaja, Vishwanath, Raghunath and myself. So everybody was involved in each way, especially Kiran and Rajiv. Along with putting notice in the WhatsApp, they used to call individually, ask for what time you are going to come and motivating each other. Really it all helped us, and especially Srinivas, I would like to thank Srinivas for doing presentation. PowerPoint presentation as he did it in the last year also. Yeah. Next, I would like to thank our Cloths Exotica manager Suresh and Arul and team for helping us and bearing with us in all these so many phone calls regarding the bargain and all those things. Yeah, thank you very much. Next, I would like to thank our guest speakers for giving some take-home messages, whatever it may be. And also I would like to thank the Nakul, he was here I think, for giving mesmerizing all the parents and the children with his skills. Next, I would like to thank some sponsors for this program, headed by the Global Prostate Disease Foundation, Raghunath, who has donated around 30,000. Then Vishwanath and Kiran for sponsoring mementos. Then Manjunath for giving chakli and Nipito. Then Umesh Madurode. Last and the most important, all my dear friends and your families, without whom this function would not have occurred. I really thank, because it is our program, it's all us. I really thank some of our classmates who have come from US. To name small, Ravindra just left. In fact, I just met 5 minutes back. I could see the tears in his eyes. He told me, really I'm feeling very sad to go. So see, that really emotions are playing. I'm not exaggerating. I was really surprised because I was standing at the end. He was able to come and confide with me. So then Kiran had come for the first time, Madhavi, then we have got Guru Prasad, then we have got from UK Girish and Krishna Prakash, then Kashinath has come all the way from Muscat, So we have got all the friends. I feel we should get motivated with each other and we should keep united. We are like a big family. We should stay till the end, till the last thread falls. Maybe as our commander said, it may be more 100 years or more than that. Let's keep up the spirit. Hooray!